Hello, everybody. Let me first start this off like I usually do. God is good all the time. Once again, I repeat that God is good all the time. Now, I was watching last night Jennifer Floyd's comments to the Teachers Association, her extra campaign donors, and more, and basically saying she's giving out a whole bunch of garbage to you. See, Merle Rutledge don't play that way. I don't mince words to you. I don't go to you every 4 years and then try to appease you. And then while I'm in office, you feel like your vote never mattered. It actually went against you. It wasn't for you. Now, Jennifer Floyd talks good and she talks proper, but she doesn't talk straight up real to you teachers that are out there across Virginia trying to figure out what are you going to do in the fall, especially with what's going on all across America with this COVID hoax. Now, let me be straight up clear to you. You are about to lose your job if you vote for Democrats right now. That's what she's really trying to tell you. Now, let me get real with you. Okay, the science already says that kids are less vulnerable and that the schools should be open due to the fact of the cost and the price that the kids will face by not having a proper education will harm us in the future. We are seeing that right now, people. See, those kids that are out there protesting need to be back in school getting an education so they can learn about what they are protesting and why in the world would you be out there if you don't know and not educated on the issues that you are supposed to fight for, and is the group actually obtaining that goal or using you for their own particular purpose. Now, this is what I'm going to say also, teachers, because I don't mince words with people. You are going, once again, repeat that, you are going to lose your job. Virginia is bankrupt. They don't have the money to fund the teachers right now, so it's easier for them to close the schools. Now, this is what's going to happen, people. They're going to use some of the best teachers from what they consider their scale or their metrics to decide on which teacher can teach about 5 to 10 different classes. One teacher. And they're going to just basically start recording those videos of your lessons to your students. This way, when you decide to quit, they're going to have you sign a contract that says that any video on their online system is their property, is their copyrighted material. That means basically they can use your video year after year to keep teaching their students. Now, what they're going to make sure they do is put that curriculum up in there, that extra stuff, so it is done to the way that they want it. So if they want you to start teaching these new religious classes, if they want you to start teaching sex ed or whatever it may be that you are going to be teaching because you're under that liberal format and what I consider the pedophile grooming program, then that's exactly what they're going to do. And they're going to use your videos. The first year, yes, you're going to get us a little salary, but they're going to do the cuts because they got to cut education in order to start financing and making up for all the money that they lost with COVID. That's why they're hoping that these billions and billions of dollars isn't there to save your job. It's just there to make sure that the state has money there so they can start implementing these plans so they can pay for their other port barrel projects that have nothing to do with education. Now, she also said that ignore the CDC, ignore everything else, ignore the science. But they want us to pay attention to climate change. Since you don't know what climate change is, aren't they telling people, make sure you pay attention to the science, make sure you go to the experts? That's exactly the same thing. It's picking and choosing what they consider their science. So start paying attention to that as well. Now, the other thing, she makes a good point about the fact that, the kids in certain areas don't have internet access. They don't have high speed. They don't have certain access that they need for them to get a proper education through virtual learning. But she doesn't give our answer on how they are going to solve that problem. See, that's the problem with Democrats. They just tell you what they're going to do, but they don't give you a solution from all the mess that they put y'all in. See, that's why you got to vote Republican and vote for conservative. We understand the price of y'all losing your job. We are trying to keep y'all continuing to educate our kids because that's what you worked hard for. You went to college for. You took the test for. You got the degree for. was to teach. So then you have to start looking at other means instead of your passion, instead of what your love is. Now you are being put as far as your job as nothing more than a flunky for Democrats to use until you are no longer needed. That's the fact here. And then also the kids at this time period who don't have internet access, they are not saying how they're going to get internet access. They're not saying how they're going to have access to a laptop. The only thing they are saying is basically this is a problem and we'll figure it out as we go along. This is almost the end of July going into August where schools are supposed to be started and the plans or the implementation of these policies are supposed to be in line and fitting the format of exactly what we want all for Virginia. Our kids to have a proper education and a future that they can depend on. And right now, Jennifer Foy is the wrong person. Doesn't matter. All the Democrats is the wrong person because they go into the same handbasket and exactly they are not telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth because, like I said, I don't mince words. I think 5 steps ahead. And exactly like I said, you are about to lose your job. The classes that you teach virtual, they are going to copy it and then tell you in the next spring or whatever, when your contract is up, that we no longer need you. And then you're going to be seeing yourself right there on an online virtual class, teaching the class, and you ain't the one behind the screen doing it because they don't need you no more after they get what they want from you. This is going to be the biggest blow to the educational system all across America. And I'm telling parents directly, this is the time frame where you're going to have to be on board to make sure your kids get proper education and learn exactly the things that they are not going to be able to do when they're not in school, which puts pressure on parents as well who need child care, who also at the same time frame work a job. They basically became dependent on the school system. So basically all you got is a bunch of chaos going into August without a plan instead of having school in person, using some proper reasonable precautions. That's not only to have a job, make sure our kids have an education and to go ahead and eliminate some of these problems. Once these problems are eliminated and once kids get used to the virtual new normal, you are not going to be needed, period. They're going to just use the best of y'all that's left over. And then from there say, basically, teachers have to find something else to do. That means all your hard work, all your time with these kids that you have been trained to do, all the education that you got so you can teach these kids how to blossom and grow is now no longer going to be at your discretion as a good qualified teacher. Instead, it's going to be at the discretion of them bureaucrats in the swamp up there in Richmond, VA. See, I don't play games. One of the things they should have done was make sure internet access and more was readily available, especially to those kids who don't have that type of access. 2, at the same time frame, I'm encouraging you teachers, and I'm going to promote this as governor of Virginia for you, the best of the best, to continue educating our kids and find alternative methods, not only to become entrepreneurs, but to create your own private schools so that kids can learn. And I will encourage the federal government as well as the state to make vouchers for parents and students to make sure that they can pick whatever school or whatever teacher that they feel is the best for their education for their children. Because that's exactly what Virginia families deserve, especially during the time of uncertainty that is moving along for the future, especially with what they are creating as this new normal. We are not going to accept this as a new normal as me being your governor of Virginia. School will be back open. Classes will be full of students and teachers will still be able to maintain their jobs and will continue to teach in-person classes. That's going to happen from day one, guaranteed. But you vote for these Democrats and this is what they get you to accept and this is what you pay your campaign donation for without looking at the alternative and looking at what can happen and the different outcomes, then you will be paying for exactly your own doom. The Teachers Association will no longer be a Teachers Association. It will be nothing more than something that no longer exists. Because trust me on this one, they will turn on the unions just like they have turned on everybody else who had decided not to fit the Democratic playbook. So start paying attention. Jennifer Ford may have sounded nice and said, hey, I'm there for the teachers on the front line. But the thing is, she ain't going to be with you teachers on the unemployment line. So start paying attention. And that's why you have conservatives and Republicans like me who tell you the truth, don't mince words, let you know the outcome. And I'm going to tell you directly, our educational system is going to be going into overdrive once I become governor. And like I said, it's going to be a zero tolerance for bullying. It's going to be more of the schools being there for education, not for pedophile grooming sessions, and not compromising exactly your religious beliefs or freedoms, and making sure that you're able to teach and give out guidance without the interference of politics. That's exactly what teaching is all about, making sure the kids learn, not about making sure that the kids comply with bureaucrats that don't care nothing about their welfare. So like I said, the SOLs will be gone. No more worrying about making sure that they are prepared for some biased tests instead of worrying about the education that they're getting and focusing as you being teachers on the front lines on where kids are behind and catching them up to date without having to worry about the degree or curriculum of people who don't have not one bit of time in the classroom, but instead trying to put pressure on you teachers to go ahead and continue to speed up an education that you know that some students ain't prepared for. Right now, we need to be focused on making sure our kids are prepared for the future. And that's exactly what Merle Rutledge pledges. That's exactly what Merle Rutledge is going to get done. Our teachers are going to get back over and take over the classroom, and we are going to get Virginia back. So, like I said, you can vote for Democrats that just basically told you nothing but a lie in fancy language on some fancy dressing on their Democratic salad, or you could deal with true conservative Republican like Merle Rutledge to take on the leadership to make sure that Virginia teachers really have the protection and the backing that it needs. You will not have that with the Democratic Party. And that's exactly why I'm running for governor. My name is Merle Rutledge, and I'm running for the 2021 governor of Virginia for the Republican nomination. And that's exactly the way it is.